Hey everybody, Frady here, helping you enjoy your ride. In today's video, we're going to take a look at this 2018 Toyota Tundra Limited. I'm in love. It's official. Even down to the color. The color on this thing is called cement or cement, whichever you prefer. We're going to pick this thing apart today. We're going to go through all the technical specs, the inside, the outside. I love this thing. And if this video looks incredibly smooth today, it's because I'm using an all-new Smooth Mobile stabilizer. I've been seeing Smooth products online, especially on Facebook. They have incredible Facebook ads all the time. I reached out to them and I told them who I was and what I did. And I said, would you guys be willing to send me one of your stabilizers? And they said, yeah. This thing is so much fun. And I'm going to be showing you all about the Smooth stabilizer in upcoming videos. And I'm also going to do a complete video about the struggles that I've had for smoothness in my videos. All the hacks that I've made, some have worked, some have not. But every single one of those hacks and all the blood, sweat, and tears that I've worked for have all been solved right now in this stabilizer that I'm holding my hand filming this video on. So thanks, Smooth. And I would like to say a huge thank you to Midstate Toyota in Asheboro, North Carolina for the opportunity to film this amazingly beautiful, sick, sweet, big, fat, massive Tundra. Go check out midstatetoyota.com on the worldwide internet machine. And look at all their amazing inventory and then go see them in person and buy this truck from them or any other Toyota vehicle that you may want. Here's the key for the Tundra. You can see on the top is the lock button, below that's the unlock button, and below that is the panic alarm. When you press the lock button once, all the doors lock. When you press the unlock button once, the driver's door unlocks. Press it twice, all four doors unlock. I like the key. It's pretty simple. No frills. You see the little slot right there? If your battery ever dies, you can take something that's that size, pop it open, and replace the battery. I was telling you before in the intro, this color is cement. And the first time I saw this color, it was actually on a 4Runner. It just absolutely struck me. And I think it was on like a TRD Pro 4Runner. And I had yet to see it on a Tundra. But man, seeing this Tundra in person with that color is just fantastic. You see where it says Tundra and that's basically like embossed on it? That's a really good look. 4x4 there on the tailgate. I don't know why that's not embossed. I guess because all of the Tundras are not necessarily 4x4, so they would have to make separate tailgates for two-wheel drive ones. You notice here on the handle on the tailgate, you have your backup camera. Also has those dynamic grid lines there in the backup camera. It is a locking tailgate, as you can see. You can see the lock there. And then the Toyota emblem. It's been moved from the tailgate right onto the emblem there. I think that's a good look. There's no spray-in bed liner in this one, so you get to see all the workings of what the bed actually looks like without a spray-in version. These are big old clips, and you can see how there's that black portion right there screws down and it tightens the clamp into the bed rails. So take off this portion, slide that in, and at that point you can customize multiple different points of where you can put all of those different clamps. And you can also see that you have another rail there along the front side of the bed closest to the cab. Also, another cool thing is that whole back window will roll down. You can just take this and let it fall, and it gently lays open there. Makes it nice that it doesn't slap down. You can also, of course, remove the tailgate right there. A couple of tie downs you can see there in the corner. You've got a big tie down right there, and you also have them in the front corners of the bed as well. You have a couple of different options here. This is going to be for trailering, and there's a big old plug right there, and then you've got another outlet right there. The right side says ground, running lamps, left short turn, left stop turn, right stop turn, And then it gives you a little diagram of what's going on with the bulbs over on the left side as well. You see the dot there on the bumper, and then you've got 2 on that side. Then you're gonna also have 2 on the left side. So that's gonna be park assist. That's what beeps whenever you get too close to something if you're at parking lot speeds. This also has a feature called rear cross traffic alert, so that in the event that you're backing, then these sensors are gonna help you with knowing if something is coming from the left or the right that is a far distance away that you need to stop and not hit. It has a larger fuel tank. That fuel tank is 38 gallons. Double wishbone front suspension with stabilizer bar, and a trap leaf rear suspension with staggered outboard shocks. Power assisted 4-wheel disc brakes, and these amazing 20-inch alloy wheels with P275/55 R20 tires. And you can see there where it says M+S, that means mud and snow. Another one of the things that you're going to notice about it being a limited is the silver trim that's on the outside. You can see where it says limited right there on the badge on the door. Then you can see the silver handles there on the door itself. I love how the mirror has the silver plate on it there. Gives it a really nice look. You can also see there how it has the silver trim there on the bumper. That's a pretty good look with your fog light that's integrated there. And the grille in the front of this thing is just where it's at. I love how Toyota has just over the years made the grille even more aggressive and aggressive year after year. Some people aren't a big fan of that, but I love the look of that grille. And like I mentioned, the chrome there, you can see how it surrounds both top and bottom. And the Toyota badge, that actually has a radar that is set behind it, and that's used for your radar cruise control to keep you at a set distance between you and the vehicles in front of you, obviously maintaining safety. You also have LED daytime running lights there inside that actually surround the headlight, and that's flashing because of my camera refresh rate. For some reason LED lights do that, but those are such a good look, and it actually looks kind of cool right there. Do you hear that chainsaw? I mean, really, how big is that thing? I mean, the birds are behind me, it's all pretty, and then Paul Bunyan just happens to be over here while I'm filming. Oh well. Like they say, here are your tow hooks. You can see right there, all in the front. And that's what you'll need in the event that you've got to pull somebody else out of something. Nice skid plate there. All the bits and pieces of the undercarriage. Pretty cool stuff. It has a 5.7 liter I-Force V8 with dual individual VVTi. It has 381 horsepower and 401 pound-foot of torque. It has a 6-speed automatic transmission with sequential shift. It also has on-demand 4-wheel drive with electrically controlled transfer case, A-track, and an automatic limited slip differential. You notice that you see here it says 0W20 on the fuel cap right there. That means that it's fully synthetic oil, and you're going to want to change that oil every 10,000 miles. Right down here to the right is going to be your battery. Positive on the left side, negative on the right side. Do not get those crossed up. That would not be good. We've got relay and fuse box there on the right side. Washer fluid in that gigantic washer fluid tank there. Nice. Power steering fluid, and then you've got a little bit of coolant right there on the right side, and that's what all that pink fluid is right there. Very, very lovely. Another really nice thing about the Tundra is that the hood is mounted on shocks. That is a fantastic thing, so you don't have to prop it up with that arm or hold it up with your arm. Another add-on are these running boards, and I love these. These are actually called the Stealth stainless running boards, and I don't know that I would take a Tundra without them. Another cool safety feature, and that's going to be blind spot monitor. You can see that right there. And these mirrors are heated, and they also break away so that you can fold them in if you have to go to a car wash or something. You don't want to get them messed up. Okay, let's take a look at the inside. We're going to start with the back seat. There's a lot of things that this seat can do. Number one, this can be pulled up, and the whole seat bottom comes up like that. And it's actually going to stay in position just like that. That is super, super handy. Now we can take that and put it right back down. Kind of falls down. Something that I just discovered was how this headrest works. There are little tabs right there, and you can see that those little tabs, you see that? Just right there on the very edge of that. And then there's another one here. Well, you can take the headrest and push that tab in, and that will come up. At that point, you can take the headrest and you can fold it down. Now the headrest will also come completely off too if you push the tabs. I don't have two hands right now, but if you push the tabs, then the headrest will come completely off. But otherwise, it will fold up and down. And then you've got a center armrest here. That's pretty helpful if you have just two rear passengers. You can fold that down and put their cups there. You can see that you have air vents there and a power point. It's a lighter adapter power point. And this thing just has tons and tons of room. A few cup holders there in the door. You can see there at the bottom of the door there, you've got a few cup holders. And it's really utilitarian. I mean, you don't really need a bunch of frills in it. Kind of a satin finish on the door handle. Speakers there in your door. There's a speaker there and then a speaker there down low. And you do actually have some soft touch materials right here on this door with a little bit of stitching there. It's got a nice look. And in the event that you do want to take some kids with you, there's your child safety door locks there. So you can just push that down, and it makes it to where that door handle will not open the door from the inside. Nice feature. Easy to use. What's really, really cool is that I had that front seat adjusted for me, and there's just a ton of room back there for anybody that needs to get back there. Notice that your fuel tank is over on the left side of the bed. You have power seats, so you have controls to slide it forward, and then you can take the front of this and you can move the seat bottom up and down as well. You can see that, how that's moving up and down. And then you can actually take this and move the entire seat up and down. And then this is going to tilt the back. Lumbar support right there. And then you've got an airbag right here on the outer portion. And the seats are really, really nice. I love how the leather is on that seat, and it's nice and tough and durable. The bolsters for the seat come out nice and wide, but they're not too high. And the seats and the bolstering on the seat backs is nice and big, but it's still lets you fit in there nice and comfortably without being too restrictive. And then on the inside of the driver's door, you have the same soft panels there with the stitching on the inside of the door. And notice also that you've got two automatic up and down window buttons. Then you've got your controls for your rear windows there. And then toward the front of that is going to be your lock and unlock, and then the lock button to lock all the windows. Notice that you've got your JBL label there on that speaker, because this one does have the upgraded JBL stereo since it is a limited. A couple of cup holders. And like I mentioned, those super valuable running boards there. Those are going to be really, really nice, really for anybody. You're going to notice a really big bank of buttons right here. And we're going to start on the top left, and you see L, R, and mirror. And that's going to be the controls for your mirrors. And then you have on-off door, and that is going to be the control for your bed light. I recommend is just keeping it there basically, so that whenever the door opens, the light for your bed comes on. And then this is going to be for the adjustment for the headlights. So when your headlights are on at night, you can take this and roll it up and down, because if you've got something in the bed, then it's going to do that, and your headlights are going to go up like that. So using this feature, if you've got something heavy in the bed, you can then turn your headlights down, and you can always have them on the road where they need to be. And you know what? I got these two mixed up. That's for the interior light. I do apologize. That's for the interior light, and that's for the bed light. Hello, the icon right there. So you know what that is now. Then the button in the middle there to the right of the bed light button, and that says auto. And that's because this one has the automatic sensing brights. What this feature does is it allows the headlights to dim automatically while you're driving, so at night you can drive around the whole time with your brights on. And whenever you encounter someone in incoming traffic or oncoming traffic, the headlights will dim automatically so that you don't blind people. The way you cut that on is to push that forward and then to push that on. And then you can see on the dash it says auto high beam ready. Turn on high beam to activate. And now you see where it says auto right there on the stalk. You can roll that forward to where that little mark lines up with auto. So now automatically at night your brights are going to cut on so that you can maximize the efficiency of your headlights without blinding people, because they're going to automatically dim. That's a great feature. I really recommend using that all the time. Over on the left side you can see your steering wheel audio controls, and then there's voice commands right there. And then you can see where it says mode and hold, and that's how you're going to change the mode of the audio system. Also, if you want to have a conversation with somebody and you want to mute the radio, you can press and hold that and it will mute the radio for you. And then of course you have Bluetooth here, hang up and pick up, so that you can control whenever you get a phone call, or if you need to make a phone call, you can operate that to the left of the steering wheel right there. On the right side of the wheel here is a multi-directional keypad that you're going to see in the top right portion of the steering wheel. That's going to go up, down, in and out, and then you've got a little dot right here, and that is actually to make a selection once you want to make a selection. And then this is going to be the back arrow to get out of a window. And then this is your pages icon, and down here is going to be for the radar cruise control, and that's lane departure alert. You can see here that this is your cruise control stalk. On the top it says cancel. On the end it says on and off. Then resume with the arrow going up, set with the arrow going down, and then hold. So when you want to use cruise control, you press that in, and on the dash right now it says radar ready. And so what you would do at this point is to get up to the speed you want to cruise, and then press down to set it, and the vehicle takes over. Now the reason it said radar ready is because it's going to use a radar in order to determine the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, and it's going to maintain that set distance. Now it's going to maintain that distance based on what you input with this button. Right now on the dash you see there it says radar ready. I just pushed that button and you see the 3 blue blocks, now 2, now 1. That's the distance that the Tundra is going to maintain while you're using radar cruise control, and you can press that button I just showed you. That's the greatest distance, that's next to the greatest, and that's the least. You need to use this to determine yourself what distance you're comfortable with and at what speed. What I find personally is that 3 blocks is too far for me, because it maintains a really big distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. But you want to pay attention to that, because this is a big vehicle. So you want to take that into consideration when setting the distance that you want to maintain between you and the one in front of you. And that's the least amount of distance right there. So like I said, you play with that and you know, determine what you want to do. And then there's lane departure alert right there. I'm going to press the lane departure alert button, and then you can see the icon in the top left came on, and it says LDA unavailable below approximately 32 miles an hour. Lane departure alert is the feature that allows the vehicle to determine when you're getting outside of your lane, and it can let you know. It's going to actually warn you on the dash, but it's, like I said, it's unavailable below 32 miles an hour. Looking at this multi-directional keypad, when I press the pages icon, this is what it looks like. So now I can press to the right, and I can go all through these different pages here. Cruise control, no messages, settings, information, compass, music. So I'm going to go to settings. LDA is lane departure alert, and I can press that little middle dot in that multi-directional keypad that I was talking about, and here's the sensitivity. Warning is on, it's off now. Now it's on. And so this is all lane departure alert. The sensitivity right here, you see a coffee cup and it says warning and sensitivity. That determines that if I am getting outside of my lane too much within a certain time frame, then it's going to show the coffee cup on the dash and it's going to say, hey, you need to take a break, pal, because you're swerving too much. And then there's the sensitivity of it. Okay, so I'm going to press the back arrow. PCS is pre-collision system, and that is the feature that you never ever want to have to use, because as the name implies, it only works if you are about to get into a wreck. Pre-collision system. I always recommend leaving it on, and I recommend a sensitivity right there based on what you feel safe with. That's the maximum, that's the middle, and that's the least. So that is basically going to look ahead of the vehicle, determine if you are about to get into a collision, and take appropriate measures based on braking and pulling the seat belt back against your chest to put you better situated in the seat in the event of an impact. And just, it's an incredible safety system. So that's pre-collision. BSM is blind spot monitor, and that is on. That's the little icons that are in the outer portions of the corners of the mirrors, and it's on. RCTA is rear cross traffic alert, and I just cut it on. That's a great feature. Vehicle settings, and this controls the brightness of the blind spot monitor that's in the mirrors. This is the first time I've seen this on a vehicle to where you can actually control the brightness, and I love that. RCTA is rear cross traffic alert volume, and that's the feature that will alert you if someone is coming behind you and you are backing and they are coming from the left or the right and you can't see them. Rear cross traffic alert. If they're crossing your traffic pattern in the back in reverse, then it's going to warn you. That's the volume. Back arrow again. And so these are all the different settings. I'm scrolling down now, and that's the lane departure warning. Remember I was telling you about how to adjust the sensitivity of that? Tank average. So this is just all fuel economy stuff. There is a digital speedometer. I love that. Okay. Then I'm going to go to the right. There's navigation. There's music. All of that is going to come from using this set of buttons right there. Great feature. You can just tap it up, and it blinked 3 times. And that's if I'm just changing lanes, but I don't want to fully engage the turn signal. And then windshield wipers are right here. Pretty self-explanatory. Mist, off, intermittent, low and high. This controls the speed of the intermittent wiper, and then that is going to wash off the windshield for you. Here's another bank of buttons for you. On the top left is park assist. I always recommend having that on. You know, sometimes you may want to cut it off if you are in a drive-through and it's beeping like crazy. You can just reach down and cut it off, and then once you leave the drive-through, you can cut it back on. To the right of that is traction control off, and to the right of traction control is tow haul mode, and then trailer brake output, and then your gain right there. And that's how you can control how the brakes react, or how the brakes are used according to a trailer type, whether or not you need to increase or decrease the gain of your brakes whenever you've got electric brakes connected to the trailer there. And here's the dial that you're going to want to use if you want to switch it from 2-wheel drive to 4-high and 4-low. Your transmission is here. When you put it in reverse, there's your backup camera, and you have the grid there so that you know where you are in connection with what you're trying to back to. And then when you put it into drive, at any speed, and this is just regular drive, but at any speed you can flip it over and you can manually engage gears there, up and down. And when you upshift, or when you push it forward, it upshifts. So it's in 6-speed now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can see that there at the very bottom. S2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I can take it at any time and flip it back over, and that's just regular drive. One of the nice things that I noticed about it as soon as I got in it was that the fact that it had 3 cup holders. Check that out. Then you've got this thing here that's, I guess you could put pens or business cards or jelly beans or belly button lint, whatever you want to put there. You do have a nice tray there to put whatever. There's an auxiliary port, and you can take that and lift it up, and you can see that you have a USB adapter plus an auxiliary, and then this is a cigarette lighter adapter right there for power. You have another one over on that side as well. Here's our climate control system. You can see that it is dual zone climate control. Over on the left, you see auto and off. That's in the inside of that button there. When you press auto, it's going to automatically maintain the temperature of the truck at whatever temperature you have set. You can see at the top of the screen there, it says 68 degrees. So if I turn that, it's going to change. You can see it says 68, 66, all that. So it's automatically going to maintain the cabin temperature whenever that is on. On the right dial, you can see sync and AC. If I take sync and I deactivate it, at that point I can control the passenger side temperature independently of the driver's side. But if sync is active, at that point it controls both. You can see the buttons here. That's defrost for the front, defrost for the back, recirculate, fan speed, and mode. Mode changes the fan direction. And then this is three-way power heated seats. You can see on the top side of the screen. Hazard lights are here. And now we're looking at the audio system and also the whole infotainment system there. On the left side you see home, and that's the screen that we're on right now. And that is a screen that you can actually customize. I can press apps, and then I can go to setup, and then I can go home screen and completely change around the look of the home screen. And I actually like the way it is right now, although I am going to change something. I'm going to change phone, and I'm going to press that and go to weather, because I like to see weather when I get into the truck. So audio on the top left, weather on the bottom left, and then navigation in the big portion. And look at that. So I have nav on the right, weather, and then audio. These are clickable also, so I can take that, touch one portion of the screen and expand it into that information. This is HD, so that means it can actually broadcast stuff like this. And this is from the Weather Channel, and this is actually free for life. This is not subscription based. That's really, really nice. So I can go 3-day, and this is a little forecast that we have here. And I can see that on Tuesday, it's going to be humidity 91, chance of precip is 70, and it's going to be a high of 59 and a low of 51. Then I can back out of all that, and there's a few more detailed weather things. Back to home. I can go settings, and this is going to take me right to my setup screen. And then there's general. I can cut the beep on and off. Back on. So I recommend getting into this screen and just playing around with it and seeing what you like, and also just make changes. Do all kinds of different things that you want to change around. This is really cool when it comes to messing with your nav system. So it's going to take all of these things into consideration when you are inputting a destination into the nav system, so that it can more efficiently route you where you need to go based on these settings, whether or not they are selected. Great stuff. I love all this. You can customize certain things about the vehicle. I recommend going to light settings. You can see headlamps on sensitivity. So now this is going to have a little eye that's up by the rearview mirror, and it's going to adjust the timing of the automatic headlights when they cut on at night as the sun's going down based on this sensitivity. Isn't that cool? So you can customize all kinds of crazy things and set this up. I really recommend setting aside some time to make sure that you know what you're doing in the Tundra. Very, very cool stuff. And then everything else is pretty self-explanatory as far as audio system. And so you can take this and reorder these. I'm going to press FM, push the back arrow, you see that? Then I'm going to push Bluetooth, and I'm going to move that over beside FM. And then I'm going to push USB. And so that's how now that screen is arranged. So now let's say I want to memorize a radio station. I can tune the station right here. Then I can go here and press and hold. And that just memorized the station right there. Nice and easy. Cool stuff. Sunroof controls are right here. You can see where it says tilt and then slide. So I can just press that and it opens the sunroof. And it is one touch. Woo, that's bright. Nice big sunroof. I love a truck with a sunroof. That is just so cool to me. And then you can take it and it's one touch close as well. Then you have a little bit of additional storage for your sunglasses. And And then a nice inset compass there in the mirror. That's always a great feature. Really cool stuff. And then you've got a set of buttons right there, and that's called Home Link. And that's where you can set your garage door opener into your mirror there so that you don't have to carry a garage door opener around with you all the time. You've got a nice big fat box right here, so you can lift that up, and then you can see all down in here. There's just a ton of stuff. I was looking at this earlier, and I have no idea how you would get a tissue box there, but that says tissues. Anyways, and then you've got cards. You can put business card slot right there, a couple of pens or pencils. Pretty nice. And that is just a big old massive box right there. It's really nice. And then you've got another power source right there. Oh, this is really cool. You can take your charger right there for your cell phone, plug it in right there, and then run the wire here, and then just leave your phone right there. If it's tiny, you know, that's not gonna work. Maybe a little, nope, not even a little itty bitty old school iPhone, not gonna do it. But anyways, so that's pretty cool. I like this truck a lot. Okay, everybody, that's going to wrap up our look at the 2018 Toyota Tundra Limited crew cab, all kinds of stuff. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Make sure you give it a big fat thumbs up and you share it with your friends. Also, if I earned your subscription, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. But remember, the most important thing of all, have a wonderful day, everybody.